Shalom, shalom, Israel. Today, today we're going to cover betrothal and courtship. I see a lot of people talking about courting, but is that really biblical? And was it part of our culture? And what is the difference between betroth, courtship, engagement, etc.? So we're going to look at some definitions. We're going to cover some scripture to see if they were courted or what was the actual function within Israel. All right, so start off here. We have betrothed. It says a person to whom one is engaged. So you have, you have different things. Betrothal versus engagement. It says betrothed means formally engaged, so it's pretty much the same thing as an engagement. So the word that's been thrown around is courtship, courting, etc. So what is courtship? It says the act, process, or period of courting. Now, if you look down here, it shows you the synonyms, right? It says courting, dating, love making, suit, right? So what is a synonym? So a synonym is a word or phrase that means exactly or nearly the same as another word or phrase in the same language. For example, shut is a synonym of close. So courtship is a synonym of lovemaking. What is the definition of lovemaking? Sexual activity. So, as you can see, courtship is involving sexual activity. It's the same thing as lovemaking, same thing as dating, etc. What is the definition of dating? Right? Let's see here. To determine the period of time to which someone belongs, to determine the date, record of time of execution, marking of, etc. To make a usually romantic social arrangement to meet with, to have a date with. So it's consistent with lovemaking, sexual act, and the act, right? The process of lovemaking, process of sexual encounters, or process of encounters. Okay, so that is what courtship is. Synonymous with lovemaking, synonymous with dating. Okay, if you hit the word courting, it gives you things, synonyms about the court, officers, etc. Okay, same thing. All right. So let's see in the scriptures and see exactly what our forefathers did. Okay, because a lot of you, both brothers and sisters, and you are courting each other, and then something you don't like something within somebody, or they display some type of characteristic or some type of moral deficiency, and then you cut it off. But what is that though? Is it the same? Is it the same as being married, or is it the first step of being married, or what is it? So what I teach is that betrothal is the same thing as being married. Okay, it's the first step in being married. You betroth, and then you consummate. Okay, and the proof is in Deuteronomy, because the Most High puts the emphasis on in this law and this mitzvah right here in Deuteronomy chapter 20 and verse 7. It says, "And what man is there that hath betrothed a wife, and hath not taken her? Let him go and return unto his house, lest he die in the battle, and another man take her." So right here is showing that it's important that is saying that it's showing you that it's already your wife. It equates betrothed to a wife, right? Betrothed. Aras, which means engaged for matrimony, espoused. Okay? Now, you go to Deuteronomy chapter 22, and you're going to see the seriousness of how the Most High takes a betrothal. It doesn't say courtship. It doesn't say love making. It doesn't say dating. It doesn't say any of those things, okay? Now, Deuteronomy chapter 22, verses 23 and 24. "If a damsel that is a virgin be betrothed unto a husband, and a man find her in the city and lie with her, then ye shall bring them both out unto the gate of that city, and ye shall stone them with stones that they die. The damsel because she cried not, being in the city, and the man because he hath humbled her, his neighbor's wife. So thou shalt put away evil from among you." So again, you have a second witness in Deuteronomy, in the book of the law that Moses had brought forth, that shows you that he equates a betrothal as betrothed as a marriage. Okay, it is the first step of a marriage. We did not court. All we did was we saw a woman that we fell in love with, or we admired the beauty, or we wanted to be with. We went to her father's. We inquired of the dowry price. He either said yay or nay, and we went from there. There is no evidence in here that the woman actually had a choice. And I know a lot of women and sisters like to quote Rebecca, but when you look at the Rebecca situation, she was giving a choice of whether she wanted to stay 10 days or if she wanted to leave then. She didn't get a choice of whether she wanted to marry Isaac or not. Okay? And we're going to cover that as well later on. All right? So, what more proof do we have that when you're betrothed to somebody, you're married and you're betrothed to him forever? Well, we have the prophet Hosea, and when he speaks about the Most High being betrothed to Israel, or Israel being betrothed to the Most High, and how it is forever. And go to Hosea, the 2nd chapter, verses 19 and 20, and it says, I will betroth thee unto me forever. Yea, I will betroth thee unto me in righteousness and in judgment, and in loving kindness and in mercies. I will even betroth thee unto me in faithfulness, and thou shalt know the Lord. Why? Because Israel has been unfaithful to the Most High. They worship Yahweh. They pray in the name of Yahweh. They worship other gods. They gave the children, our forefathers gave the children to Moloch and worshiped the other gods. Okay, but the Most High was betrothed to us. He never turned his back, and so he was always will be married to us. Right now, there's another section of the law in Leviticus chapter 19. We'll go to verse 20. Okay, and this speaks about a slave girl and betrothed. Now it's a little bit different about a man who sleeps with a betrothed woman, etc. So let's read what it says. It says, and whosoever lieth carnally with a woman that is a bondmaid, betrothed to a husband, and not at all redeemed, nor freedom given her, she shall be scourged. They shall not be put to death because she was not free. Right? Because she wasn't free, so that's why they won't be put to death, because she was a slave, right? Even though she was betrothed to somebody else, and a man anybody likes carnally with her, and she's not been redeemed, nor freedom given to her, then they shall be whipped. Okay, that word for scourged is bequeth, and that is a proper examination. That is punishment, scourged. They shall not be put to death because she was not free. And the man shall bring a trespass offering unto the Lord, unto the door of the tabernacle of the congregation, even a ram for a trespass offering. Why? Because that woman was betrothed. She was married, promised a marriage or espoused to somebody already. Okay? Now, let's go to Genesis, because we're going to cover Isaac and Rebekah. Okay? We're going to go to Genesis, the 24th chapter. And let's see here. I got 51, but we're going to start a little bit further up. Let's see. Okay, we're going to start at 51. So it says, behold, we're going to read 51 verses 50. We're in Genesis 24. We're going to read verses 51 all the way down to 59. It says, behold, all the way down to 59. Behold, Rebekah is before thee. Take her and go, and let her be thy master's son's wife, as the Lord hath spoken. Right? Why did he say that? Because above it says right here, it says in verse 50, it says, then Laban and Bethuel answered and said, the thing proceeded from the Lord. We cannot speak unto thee bad or good. Behold, Rebekah is before thee. Take her and go, and let her be in thy master's son's wife, as the Lord hath spoken it. And it came to pass that when Abraham's servant heard the words, he worshipped the Most High, bowing himself to the earth. And the servant brought forth jewels of silver and jewels of gold and raiment, and gave them to Rebekah, and gave also to her brother and to her mother precious things. And they did eat and drink, he and the men that were with him, and tarried all night. And they rose up in the morning, and he said, send me away unto my master. And her brother and her mother said, so Laban and Rebekah's mother said, let the damsel abide with us a few days, at the least 10. After that she shall go. So then they told the servant, they said, listen, let her stay for 10 days, 2 weeks, and then she'll come to you. And he said unto them, hinder me not, seeing that the Lord hath prospered my way. Send me away that I may go to my master. And they said, we will call the damsel and inquire at her mouth. Okay, now this is when Rebecca was able to make a decision. She didn't make a decision if she was going to marry Isaac or not. She didn't have that choice. She didn't have that decision because her brother Laban had already made that decision for her. Why? Because he was, her father was deceased or was not around, and he was the next of kin. Okay, Torah law. And they called Rebekah and said unto her, wilt thou go with this man? And she said, I will go. And they sent away Rebekah their sister and her nurse and Abraham's servant and his men. So now I presented this right here to see that was there any type of courtship? Was there any type of love making, dating, suit? Any of these things present? Okay, so that's example 1. All right. Next, we shall go to Genesis chapter 29, and we shall see what Laban again, Rebekah's brother, and Yaakov. We're going to start Genesis 29. We're going to start at chapter 9, and we're going to read chapter 9 all the way down to verses 21. It says right here, and while he yet spake with them, Rachel came with her. While he yet spake with them, Rachel came with her father's sheep, for she kept them. And it came to pass when Jacob saw Rachel, the daughter of Laban, his mother's brother, and the sheep of Laban, his mother's brother, that Jacob went near and rolled the stone from the well's mouth, and watered the flock of Laban, his mother's brother. And Jacob kissed Rachel, and lifted up his voice, and wept. And Jacob told Rachel that he was her father's brother, that he was her father's brother, and that he was Rebekah's son. And she ran and told her father. And it came to pass when Laban heard of the tidings of Jacob, his sister's son, that he ran to meet him and embraced him and kissed him and brought him into the house. And he told Laban all these things. And Laban said to him, surely thou art my bone and my flesh. And he abode with him the space of a month. So Jacob was with them for a whole entire month, right? So when he first saw Rachel, first thing he did was kissed her and cried to the Most High. All right? She went in and told her father. Her father came out to meet Jacob, and Jacob ended up staying there for a month, right? And this is how he got Rachel, okay? So he had already been working and helping around the farmhouse or the ranch for a month with no pay, with nothing. And Laban said unto Jacob, because thou art my brother, shouldest thou therefore serve me for nothing? Tell me what shall thy wages be? So he told him, tell me what you want, man. You're not just gonna work for me and help me out for nothing. You my blood, you my bone. So tell me how much you want me to pay you. And Laban had 2 daughters. The name of the elder was Leah, and the name of the younger was Rachel. Leah was tender-eyed, but Rachel was beautiful and well-favored. All right, and when it says tender-eyed, that word is rock. It means weak, faint, soft, tender, weak. And Jacob loved Rachel and said, I will serve thee 7 years for Rachel, the younger daughter. And Laban said, it is better that I give her to thee than I should give her to another man. Abide with me. And Jacob served 7 years for Rachel, and that seemed up to him but a few days for the love he had for her. And Jacob said unto Laban, so that was the betrothal right there. That was the contract they had right there, the dowry and the betrothal. So that was the promise that he was going to be married to her. And Jacob said unto Laban, give me my wife, for my days are fulfilled, that I may go in unto her. Give me my wife, that I may have sex with her. Okay, that is the finalization of the marriage. The first is the betrothal. The second is the consummation. Proof right there in the pudding. Now, we shall go on to, let's see here. We'll go on to King David. All right, and I think it is, I forget which chapter it is. I got to look it up. Let me see, David and Micah, I think it's chapter 20. Let me see, it's chapter 6. That's what it is. 2 Samuel chapter 6. So we're going to go to 2 Samuel chapter 6. What was it? Yeah, there it was. David and Michal. Right? So we're going to read about David and Michal, 2 Samuel chapter 6, 16 through 23. Okay, we're going to see if David courted Michal or if he was just given to Michal and what happened with that. We'll see if they had the dating, courtship, lovemaking. Remember, those words are synonymous with courtship. And as the ark of the Lord came into the city of David, Michal, Saul's daughter, looked through the window and saw King David leaping and dancing, and she despised him in her heart. And that's not exactly what I'm looking for, but I have it right here, so I'm just going to read it to y'all. I think it is 1 Samuel, but I don't have it actually marked here. But what I'm trying to show y'all is that Saul said to David, "Behold, my elder daughter Merab, her will I give thee to wife. Only be thou valiant for me and fight the Lord's battles." For Saul said, let not my hand be upon him, but let the hand of the Philistines be upon him. And David said unto Saul, Who am I? And what is my life or my father's family in Israel, that I should be a son-in-law to the king? But it came to pass at the time when Merab, Saul's daughter, should have been given to David, that she was given unto Adriel the Mehitholite to wife. And Michal, Saul's daughter, loved David, and they told Saul, and the thing pleased him. And Saul said, I will give him her, that she may be a snare unto him, and that the hand of the Philistines may be against him. Wherefore Saul said to David, Thou shalt this day be my son-in-law in the one of the twain. And Saul commanded his servants, saying, Commune with David secretly, and say, Behold, the king hath delight in thee, and all thy servants love thee. Now therefore be the king's son-in-law. And Saul's servant spoke these words in the ears of David, and David said, Seemeth it to you a light thing to be the king's son-in-law, seeing that I am a poor man and lightly esteemed? And the servants of Saul told him, saying, On this manner spoke David. And Saul said, Thus shall you say to David, The king desireth not a dowry, but 100 foreskins of the Philistines, to be avenged of the king's enemies. But Saul thought to make David fall by the hand of the Philistines. And when his servants told David these words, it pleased David well to be the king's son-in-law, and the days were not expired. Wherefore David arose and went, and he and his men, and slew the Philistines 200 men. And David brought their foreskins, and gave them in full tale to the king, that he might be the king's son-in-law. And Saul gave him Michal his daughter to wife. And Saul saw and knew that the Lord was with David, and Michal, Saul's daughter, loved him. Okay? And so therefore, there was no courtship. That was not our custom. Okay? That is not our custom. Now, we have David again. We can go to 1 Samuel. We're going to go to chapter 25. Okay? 1 Samuel chapter 25. We're going to see Abigail. Right? Abigail, the widow of Nabal. First Samuel 25, and we're going to read verses 39 through 44. Okay, verses 39 through 44. And when David heard that Nabal was dead, he said, Blessed be the Lord that hath pleaded the cause of my reproach from the hand of Nabal, and hath kept his servant from evil. From the Lord hath returned the wickedness of Nabal upon his own head. And David sent and communed with Abigail to take her to him to wife. And when the servants of David were come to Abigail to Carmel, they spoke unto her, saying, David sent us unto thee to take thee to him to wife. And she arose and bowed herself on her face to the earth, and said, Behold, let thy handmaid be a servant to wash the feet of the servants, my lord. And Abigail hastened and arose and abode upon an ass, with 5 damsels of hers that went after her. And she went after the messengers of David and became his wife. Did he have to court her? No. None of that. No such thing as courtship in Israel. You betroth, then you marry. Then you consummate. David also took Ahinoam of Jezreel. So what does this mean? Also took lakah. It means accept, bring, to carry away, to fetch. So he also fetched Ahinoam of Jezreel, and they were also both of them his wives. Right? So he married two women at the same time. You're going to have people dispute that, but he did not court any of them. He took both of them and he said, I'm going to marry you, and he married them. But Saul had given Michal, his daughter, David's wife, to Phalti, the son of Laish, which was in Galilee. So Saul had been passing around Michal to everybody, making his daughter play the whore. But the thing about it is, there in some of the text and in the wording, it is showing that she actually didn't sleep with anybody, that she remained pure. Okay, so that's debatable, but we'll go from there. All right, so those are the things that I wanted to show you guys about when it comes to courtship, when it comes to betrothal, when it comes to those things. Okay, and what I read earlier was from David McCall was in 2 Samuel the 3rd chapter. Okay, it was 2 Samuel the 3rd chapter, verses 12 through 21. That's what I read earlier. All right. So you have another one, and you have it to where Abner ended up bringing Michal back to her, and here's that text right here, 2 Samuel 3rd chapter, verses 12 through 21 through 16, right? It says right here, and Abner sent messages to David on his behalf, saying, Whose is the land? Saying also, Make thy league with me, and behold, my hand shall be with thee, to bring about all Israel unto thee. And he said, Well, I will make a league with thee, but one thing I require of thee, that is, thou shalt not see my face, except thou first bring Michal, Saul's daughter, when thou comest to see my face. And David sent messengers to Ishbosheth, Saul's son, saying, Deliver me my wife, Michal, which I exposed to me for 100 foreskins of the Philistines, espoused, betrothed, all that. David went to go get his wife, and Isabel sent and took her from her husband, right, even from Philistine, right, the son of Lishus. Now the saying is going this right here. It's saying right here, there, part of the debate when it comes to this is saying that the word right here is used Isha, that it actually says Isha here instead of Ish, and denoting that Pethiel, that she was delivered from Palti, because earlier in the scriptures he's called Palti, but here he's called Pethiel, which means deliverance of God. So the sages kind of said that even though she was married off to somebody else, that he was like a wife to her, and that he that she was delivered from the Most High. That's what they're trying to say with that. That's neither here nor there, but I thought I'd just add that tidbit in. And her husband went with her along, weeping behind her, to Bahurim. Then said Abner unto him, Go, return. And he returned. All right, so the Most High doesn't play about the betrothal. Okay, he doesn't play about anything like that. If you're betrothed, you're engaged, that is the first step of the marriage. So you brothers and sisters are breaking commandments. You are breaking statutes, and you are playing the whore. When you break off of the quote unquote, when you're courting. Okay? So that is what I wanted to show you guys. I wanted to show you the difference between courtship. As you can see, courtship is synonymous with lovemaking and dating. All right? And the difference between betrothed. Right? Hebrews betrothed, and then they consummate. Hebrews do not court. They do not do courtship. They do not do lovemaking. Okay? We find a woman, and we betroth ourselves to that woman, and then we consummate that, and we are able to mold that woman the rest of our marriage. Okay? So, learn not the way of the heathen. Choose none of his ways. All right. So, hope this video was edifying to you. I hope that you got something good out of it. I hope that you learned the difference between courtship and betrothed, and why we do not do courtship, because it is involved in synonymous with lovemaking and dating, aka whoredoms. This is the avenue and gate for whoredoms. Okay. So if you like the content that we provided here and you like the video, please leave a comment, message below. Go ahead and hit the like button, hit the bell notification, hit the subscribe button, so you get notified of the next video that drops. All right. So Till the next video drops. Peace.